Welcome to Richard Scale Modelling. This is part 17 of Italeri Operation Silver Bayonet. Scale is 172. In this part, like the previous parts, I'm going to be carrying on with the base of the diorama, building up all the foliage and putting on some of the structures. If you haven't watched the previous part so far, go back and have a look. I know there's a lot of videos to get through on this build, but it's quite a large build. But I am at the diorama stage and it's starting to all come together. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So I've gone back to the flat board part of the diorama. This is where the helicopter is going to be sitting, and I'm just adding some more ground coverage here to break up the flatness of the diorama. Obviously I want it to be flat for a helicopter pad landing, but you don't want it to be completely devoid of structure and material. So I'm just putting on various little clumps of plant life just to break all that up. But be mindful of the things that you're going to be putting on the diorama. You don't want to put too much on. It's going to spoil the actual unit you're putting on, in this case a helicopter. So every now and again, just pause, have a look, dry fit your items to make sure you're happy with the coverage before moving on. That way you'll see how it evolves better for you as you're building it. So this is what I'm doing here. I'm just placing on the helicopter to see whether I'm happy with the area. I can always change things at this point, nothing's set in stone. Now, as the diorama is taking such shape, and using Revit Aquacolor 83 Rust on parts of the oil barrels that I put in for the river, again, not really necessary, it's just to add a different look and texture to the overall look. So as you can see, I'm carrying on adding more dimensions to this particular part of the diorama. I've already placed on the trees, and now I'm adding more foliage clumps on. And I'm going to be adding some bamboo or clusters on as well. Now, you may have noticed the lighting's changed slightly on the dioramas as going along. This is simply because I wait for drying time, then go back to it. So it's getting done at different times of the day, so the lighting is going to be slightly different each time. I'm sorry if that's off-putting, but there's not much I can do about that. Now, because it is a jungle setting, I'm not afraid to put big massive clumps of the bamboo and trees in certain areas. So I don't really mind how it's if it's not going to be standing straight up or whatever. I'm quite happy for it to lean up against itself and to it's basically to create that natural look. I keep on going on about that, but it's quite important when you're building these dioramas to try and make it look natural as possible. But saying that, even though it's a dense jungle scenario in certain parts, try not to overdo it. I'm putting in some more bamboo on the opposite corner. Now this is to run into the adjacent board, and that's also something to keep in mind. If you're doing it the way I'm doing it, having it in 4 sections, you want it to look each part individual but able to link in with your next part. So it's time to now fit in some more structures. Now this is the checkpoint structure. Originally this was on a base, but I decided to take it off because it just didn't look, the base didn't look right with the setting I'm placing it on. So I've just taken off the supports and the hut, and I'm just going to secure that with a little bit of super glue on the board itself. Now the first aid station at the bottom of the screen is not attached here, but I've left that on there so that you can see what I'm going on about. The base there looks doesn't look right. It would look out of place on the road area. Now the base area on the first aid stand I can sort out and treat differently, but I'm not able to do that with the checkpoint. But with the grass and foliage area, it's easy enough to do. I'm just going to be placing some PVA glue on it, and I'm going to be treating that the same way as I done the general foliage cover. So I'm going to be sprinkling on the grasses and everything like that where I'm putting on the PVA glue. So once it's on in sprinkled, it'll be time to place it on the board, but you can just see it there, and it'll be easy now to blend that area into the diorama. So to place it on, it's similar to how well, it's not similar, exactly how I put on the houses. The bottom is going to have a good coverage of PVA glue, and once it's in place, it will be easy enough to blend it in. But getting the position is important. But if you are in doubt about doing something like this, just remember you can always cover up with a thick foliage layer if need be, or you can do what I did with the checkpoint, just take it off the base. So I'm just going to add a little bit of PVA glue, then I'm taking some of the surrounding foliage that I haven't attached yet, and I'm just going to be pushing it up against the base to break up that hard edge. And then add some more plant life on the surrounding area. So in this case, some bamboo, and then some more spiked plants. But I'm also bearing in mind that the leading edge of this board is linking in with the with another board, so I'm trying to make sure that the plant life will carry on from the other board. So I'm just gradually adding all these bits of plants and everything to build up all the different layers, sizes and shapes. As I said before, try not to have it all in one level, have and not uniformed. Have it different levels, different layers, shape sizes, clumps, clusters, single plant layers, all dotted about. Now, I was just about to stop at this point, thinking this particular one is going to be done, but I've decided to break up the bank, the riverbed bank, a little bit more. I think it's too harsh. It needs a bit of softening up. And that's one of the great things about building these dioramas. If you just do little bits at a time, knowing when to stop, obviously, but also knowing when to add to get that organic look. So as I said, I think maybe in some areas it looks a bit too formulated, so all needs to be broken up a little bit more. So I'm just adding tiny little bits to it, little bits of clumps of foliage and plant life. Now you may have noticed as well that some of the parts have been placed on came loose, and one or two have dropped into the actual river part of the diorama. Those I'm actually going to leave on there. I may cement them down yet. They're not cemented yet. The reason for that is it looks more natural. You would expect leaves and bits of debris and water anyway. So as I'm placing on these little pieces of turf and plant life to break up the edges, I decided to leave all these little clumps of foliage that's gone onto the riverbed in situ, and that again helps make it all look natural. If I cleared it off and taken them away, I think it would just look too flat. But I will actually make the final decision once I'm finished putting all the plant line off on. Then I'll decide whether I want to keep the debris in the river or not. The reason for that is once I've got the overall effect, then I can see whether it is actually going to look natural or not. Of course, it's all in the eye of the beholder. Some people may be looking and thinking, "Oh, it's too much," and some people may be thinking it's not enough, or indeed I've used the wrong plant life for it. But it's like anything when you're building these models. It's really up to the builder. You should always do what you feel's right. There's no hard set and fast way to do these things. So as I'm putting the finishing touches to this particular board, this is where I'll end part 17. If you haven't done so already, why don't you go and check out the channel for my other builds. If you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date, not only with this build, but all my other builds in the future as well, of course. Hit the like button. Don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.